Hello everyone, welcome to my channel on understanding finance in sports. My name is Faisal Hasnain, and today we'll carry on talking about the International Table Tennis Federation. This is part two of, uh, of a series that I started with my previous video, which was on the finances of the ITTF, which was part one. So let's get started. I'll just uh, again provide you a little bit of background to the ITTF. It's the governing body for table tennis based in Lausanne in Switzerland. It's a non-government, not-for-profit organization, which means it's a private company, privately held by all its members. It has 226 members, and the ITTF says that it's the largest international sports governing body, and it represents every country in the world. It has 4 subsidiary companies, 2 in Singapore, 1 in Canada, and 1 in Germany. Some more information about table tennis and the ITTF. There are over 30 million competitive players worldwide. These are players who are actually registered with a club or an association and play competitive table tennis. There are 120 international tournaments which are supervised and sanctioned annually by the ITTF. That's a lot of events. The ITTF event broadcast reaches over 170 countries, with over 500 million people watching table tennis at the 2016 Olympics. So you can see that table tennis actually has quite a huge following. A total of 1.4 billion TV viewers watched major events during 2019, and that included the World Table Tennis Championships, the World Cups, and the World Tour. The ITTF has trained over 50,000 coaches to date through their development program. This is excellent, and coach education is actually quite a fundamental part of teaching table tennis and spreading table tennis worldwide. There are over 2.5 million people involved in the ITTF CSR projects, corporate social responsibility projects, and this is where the ITTF encourages table tennis for people who may be, for example, physically impaired, or in areas where people can't afford to play the game, buy a table, etc. These are excellent social responsibility projects. Now, each year the ITTF celebrates World Table Tennis Day, and the next one is on 6th of April 2021. And in 2019, on World Table Tennis Day, there were 922 events in 107 countries, with 700,000 people being involved. Wow, that's a lot of people involved in enjoying the game of table tennis on 6th of April. Obviously, in 2020, the events would have been severely curtailed or probably were severely restricted. And people may have had events, but they were not obviously according to the scale of 2019. And I hope that they are able to not only replicate this, but beat this in 2021. So well done to the ITTF. Let's move on. The ITTF have a strategic plan in place which goes from 2018 to 2024. So I guess it's a 7-year plan. And the vision of the ITTF, the long-term horizon which they are looking at, is table tennis for all, for life. Now, what do they mean by that? What they say is that the ITTF strives towards providing opportunities to participate in table tennis activities for all, for life. The programs designed and developed by the ITTF incorporate all demographics to allow access to a sport that can be played by people of all ages, all abilities, throughout the duration of their life. So it's an excellent vision that table tennis should be available to be played by everyone and in a form that everyone can enjoy and play. Then we have the mission statement. The mission statement is the actions you take to ultimately achieve your vision. So what's the mission statement? It's providing the platform and tools to inspire global table tennis growth through showcasing the sport in all corners of the world, collaborative working between all stakeholders, and transparent, progressive leadership. These are all excellent objectives and a good mission statement that should ultimately, hopefully, provide them the means to achieve their vision statement. They also have their values, 5 values: passion, competitiveness, enjoyment, respect, and discipline. I always believe that if you're passionate about something and you enjoy what you're doing, then you will ultimately meet with success. So these are all excellent values. And the ITTF has 5 strategic priorities. Organization and governance, high performance and development, international events, promotion, and revenue. All very important. You obviously want the sport to be governed properly. High performance and development, you want athletes to perform at the top level. You want to develop the game and spread the game worldwide. International events, you want to have high quality, world-class events that people enjoy and therefore attract viewers and spectators. And you want people to come back to the sport again and again. You want to promote the sport positively. And at the end of the day, you need to increase your revenues if you want to achieve your ultimate objectives. You've got to have money to put in place all those activities that will ultimately allow you to achieve your ultimate vision. Now, let's look at their revenue objectives. The overarching global revenue objective is to increase commercial revenues to support the strategic priorities, sustainability, and growth of table tennis at world, continental, and national levels. So, like it was just mentioned, that you need to increase your revenues in order to achieve your ultimate vision statement of spreading the game. Among the revenue objective is to have in place a world-class team, and by this they mean that they want to build a high caliber and experienced marketing team that works effectively together and across all ITTF departments, delivers high quality output, and generates significant revenue growth whilst fostering a goal of revenue maximization amongst all ITTF staff. World-class events. They want to develop best-in-class international event structures to create greater media and sponsor interest. That's very important. Local and international engagement and increased commercial success. You want to create a platform for players to become stars of the game. This again is very important. If you have superstars, it'll attract youngsters who will aspire to achieve the same success that your superstars have achieved. It creates a following not only physically on at events, but on social media and other platforms as well, with global appeal to fans, media, and brands through engaging and extensive promotion. Dynamic partnerships. Here we are talking about strengthening the commercial strategies of continental federations and national associations through continental commercialization agreements and continued assistance and partnerships. So here they're talking about partnerships with their 6 continental federations. Collaborating with partners including table tennis companies, sponsors, media, etc., and LOCs, of course, to produce engaging sponsorship activation content, utilizing multiple platforms to successfully promote partner brands and table tennis. and to develop and manage a modern and appropriate broadcasting strategy. If we look at the current ITTF partnerships, this includes some very good brand names: Liebherr, Tissot, Butterfly, Tata, Eurosport, Fox Network Group, etc. There's a whole list of their commercial partners on their website, so they'd like to increase this further. Continued innovations, this is also important. It's a dynamic world. People's tastes change, people's outlook changes. Nowadays, the attention span is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So create new, innovative and flexible sponsorship properties that build a quality portfolio of local, regional and global sponsors. Invest in marketing and commercial programs to specifically engage young people by maximizing table tennis on youth-oriented platforms and channels. And build the TTX, Table Tennis X brand, to create a commercially self-sufficient product, generating a new revenue source for the ITTF and its partners. As I mentioned in my last video, that TTX is a new form of table tennis that has been created to play table tennis outdoors with a slightly heavier ball and some rule changes. It's an interesting concept. Now, what are the specific targets, the goals, along with your revenue objectives? It's to increase the event-related sponsorship revenue by 100% by 2024, effectively doubling their sponsorship revenue over the next from now, 4 years from now. Increase broadcast revenue by 100% by 2024. Increase broadcast reach, the number of people watching table tennis, by 50% by 2024. Table Tennis X to become self-funding and generating income by 2022. So they are creating a completely new brand and a new product that should be able to stand up as a sport in its own right. Generate 3 new sources of revenue by 2022. This would be interesting to see. One of them, I guess, is Table Tennis X. And they want to double the prize money offered at ITTF events by 2024. This again is an excellent thing, because you want to make sure that your top superstars and athletes are well paid and well remunerated in comparison to other sports. Let's look at some of the events that took place in 2019. And 2019 was an important year for the ITTF, where they invested in the future of table tennis, and in many ways it was a landmark year. So let's see what happened. They are planning to set up a new global home of table tennis, single location, and here they've actually sent out there's a tender process, and they'd like governments or national associations to bid to host the ITTF headquarters. It's on their website. There's a form to be filled, and I'm sure there's a lot of due diligence that will be done, including potentially exemption from taxation and probably provision of premises, visas, etc. There's a whole process that one goes through. I've gone through this process myself with an international federation, and it's a fairly extensive exercise. But at the end of the day, if they are able to set up their global home somewhere where it's easy to get to, there are direct flights, there's tax exemption, there's a good sporting infrastructure there, then I think it will certainly give a boost to the ITTF and the game of table tennis. They started a constitutional review, good governance and compliance, excuse me, regulations. This again is a very, very good initiative as the world is changing, and a continued review of your constitution and your rules and regulations and compliance requirements is always good. They created World Table Tennis Ltd to centralize all their commercial and event activities. This again is a very, very good initiative. I personally feel that you should separate the sport from the commercial side of the business for a number of reasons. And what they've done is absolutely right. World Table Tennis Limited will run the commercial and event activities, and we'll look at that in the following slides. They officially established the ITTF Foundation in Germany for humanitarian projects aiming to build solidarity through table tennis. This again is an excellent initiative. Again, by creating a separate foundation, you are actually creating, in a way, a separate line of business which can potentially have its own sponsors. There are people who the ITTF Foundation will approach specifically to fund their humanitarian projects. They held Table Tennis X festivals in order to promote the new game. They started the World Veterans Tour, which is again an excellent initiative for older players. They held the Parkinson World Championships in Westchester, USA. Again, very well done. These are people who are suffering from Parkinson's disease, and it's again a very, very good initiative that they have started. They continue to promote the Paralympic Games. They put in place a new staffing structure. I think they hired around 20 staff or thereabouts in 2019, and their central staffing strength went up to from 50 to around 70, which is good, which means that they have invested in people who they need to carry out their various functions in order to ultimately achieve their mission statement and ultimately their vision statement. They introduced a video review system. This is now becoming more and more sort of usual with sports such as football and tennis and cricket and other sports. They created a member relations department, which we mentioned in the last video, in order to further and the interaction between ITTF and their membership, including the continental federations. They achieved record-breaking TV viewership. They had an increase in their social media following, and they achieved record commercial revenues for the fourth year in succession, I think. So well done. These are all excellent initiatives, and I'm sure it will stand them in very good stead for the future. So let's have a look at World Table Tennis Limited. They created this new entity to manage all the commercial and events business. The vision of WTT is to expand the global table tennis economy to ensure the sport is financially vibrant from the top down, to elevate table tennis to the upper echelon of world sport, which will encourage more people to play and consume table tennis. So they want to improve the financial standing of table tennis to be able to get more people to come into the game and to spread the game even further. And the mission is to become the global table tennis commercial leader by transforming the table tennis experience and how it is delivered internationally through world-class entertainment events, engaging fan-centric content and enhancements to ensure table tennis will have a profound impact on everyone's lives worldwide. I think the key here is engaging and entertaining. As long as your product, especially it's a sporting product that relies on people watching it, people will watch it if it's engaging, it's competitive, it's entertaining, and it's well delivered, through a good TV experience. Then in that case, there will be a following. You have to, these days, you can't sit back. These days, you have to, you're competing with other sports. Why should a sponsor you and not sponsor another sport? You have got to convince that sponsor that your product is better than the other product and it reaches more people, and that you're giving the sponsor value for money. That is very, very important. Value for money. Some of the other initiatives we talked about: doubling the prize money, showcasing superstar athletes, which again is so important. A new global event structure, revamped professional tour, a separate women's tour. This again is very good. Enhanced TV production. Your product on television has to be very, very good these days. High definition, interactive, possibly, you can now switch angles. The viewers are allowed to switch angles now. New strategic partners, digital transformation to engage fans and players, again, very important. Let's look at their partnership with IMG. They entered into a partnership with IMG in 2020. So who is IMG? IMG was founded in the USA in 1960 with a single deal that would prove the advent of modern day sports marketing. IMG is now a global leader in sports events, media and fashion, operating in more than 30 countries. IMG is actually the world's #1 sports marketing and management company. They manage your top professional athletes. They manage world-class events. They're a huge company, and therefore the World Table Tennis Federation, in partnership with the IMG, I think is taking the right steps in taking the game to another level as far as the commercial side is concerned and as far as the quality of its events are concerned. So in 2020 July, they issued a press release to announce that they had entered into a broad long-term strategic partnership with IMG. The extensive alliance, which commences in January 2021, includes global media rights development and distribution, production oversight of WTT events. That's very important. Your TV production has to be of a very good quality. Betting data and streaming rights for IMG Arena, which is the IMG's gaming side of the IMG business. Non-exclusive sponsorship representation, as well as a general mandate to grow the sport of table tennis globally. The events covered will be the World Table Tennis Championship and all tiers of the revamped event structure and various other events. In January, WTT will launch its new WTT series, a totally revamped competition which will radically change the sport and its perception. Supporting the WTT series, an innovative commercial strategy will be implemented, controlling content production and enabling digital engagement with fans around the world. This is again an excellent initiative, as well as factoring in best practices and latest consumer trends. Now, like every other sport, every business in the world, COVID-19 has had an impact on the ITTF. And ITTF in March postponed several competitions due to the pandemic happening. In March, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, also postponed the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. The financial impact of the postponement of the Olympic Games as well as the ITTF tournaments is yet to be determined. But 2020 is obviously going to financially impact the ITTF as it will impact every other sport. In April, the ITTF announced the suspension of all international table tennis events. The knock-on financial implications of an extended period of not hosting events has led to all ITTF staff and the president to decide taking voluntary salary reductions in 2020, with the ITTF Executive Committee reducing its expenses to help support the sport during these challenging times. It's a pity, but these things are not done, they're not done for nothing. It's there for a reason. And if the world sticks together, if the organization sticks together, then you can pull through this together. You all take a cut. You all contribute towards sustaining the ITTF during this difficult period. The ITTF CEO, Steve Dainton, underlined the need for all ITTF staff to stick together and make the sacrifice in order to help table tennis emerge stronger once the pandemic finally clears. And they are constantly evaluating the financial implications of postponing their events while exploring ways on how they can work with various governments around the world to minimize the financial impact. And these are initial measures to ensure that table tennis will be stronger afterwards and best equipped to enter the exciting new era of world table tennis, the new entity launching in 2021. So they certainly made all the right moves in 2019, 2020, which should have been a year where a lot of their initiatives went into action. Unfortunately, they had to take a back seat, as with the whole world really, and therefore hopefully 2021 will be the year where they will again pick up the pieces and move forward with a lot of confidence. So let's have a look at the 2020 event calendar for the ITTF and see the impact that COVID has had on their events. And it's quite a major, substantial impact that's been felt by the ITTF. So this is on the ITTF website. If we go down, we can see that they held events in January. February, they held a number of events, and then towards the end of February, there was one event right at the end that was postponed. And I guess that's when COVID started making its presence really felt on the world. In March, you can see that there was two events that were either suspended or cancelled. In April, all the events were cancelled, as were in May, June, July, August, September, and the events have restarted. At least they've been planned for November. And if we look at the list of their cancelled events, just look at this. My goodness. That's a lot of events that were cancelled, and this would have had a major impact on the ITTF and its operations, and obviously its finances as a result. To end off, just a few tidbits. So who are the current world champions of table tennis? Men's singles, Ma Long of China. He is the men's singles champion currently. Women's singles champion Liu Xinwen of China. The men's doubles, the pair from China, Ma Long and Wang Shuqin. Women's doubles, Sun Yingsha and Wang Manyu, again of where? China, of course. Mixed doubles champions Xu Xin and Liu Xinwen of where? China. Men's team event champions are from China. The women's team event champions are from China. Wow, that is absolute complete domination of table tennis. Well done, China. I wasn't actually aware of this until I did the research, but that is absolutely fantastic. I don't think any sport is dominated as the way the Chinese currently dominate table tennis, and I guess have been over the last many years. Let's look at the current ITTF rankings as opposed to the world champions. So let's look at the men's singles rankings. Number 1, Fang Zhendong of where? China. Number 2 in the rankings, Xu Xin of China. Number 3 in the rankings, Ma Long of China. Amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And let's look at the women singles rankings. Number 1 ranked player, Chen Meng of China. Number 3, Sun Yingsha of China, and then left out number 2 deliberately. Is it someone from China? No, it's Mima Ito of Japan. Wow. It's amazing. Well done, Mima Ito. That you're a brave lady to be there amongst a complete Chinese domination. Well done, China. Well done, Japan. That's good to see. So that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to be able to address all of you again very soon. In the meanwhile, this is Faisal signing out.